Hi, I'm Rigger. This is You Alright and happy Halloween, everyone. This year I wanted to try something new. I don't watch enough anime. I just don't. I want to watch more series, so I thought, let's find a spooky anime to watch for the season. Because hey, I love spooky stuff, and there's no better time of the year to indulge that. So, on a whim, I googled some lists, because I thought, hey, why not? Let's find something new, and then I took out all the popular stuff like Demon Slayer that was on there because demons, or Death Note, because I've seen it. And then I saw a suggestion. Meruko-chan. I thought, I'm pretty sure I know what this is. I have heard of this, and I don't know if this show is exactly what I'm looking for. Should this really be on here? Does this count as an actual spooky anime? But then a thought occurred to me. This is the show I'm thinking of, but why shouldn't I give it a shot? I mean, I only know the premise, I get the idea, I've seen some screenshots. But I would be absolutely lying to say that I know what happens over 12 episodes. I don't know where it goes, I just heard about the premise when it came out. So, let's give it a chance. And also, let's not act superior here or judge too quickly. Because horror movies, slasher movies, look, ogling the teenage girls before horrible things happen to them, that is 90% of the genre. No matter where you are around the world, that happens in all of them. So rather than assuming, oh, it's just anime being anime, no, if anything, that fits the genre as perfectly as you could. So, let's do it. Let me take you through, episode by episode, the plot of Meruko-chan. It starts with a girl running home in terror from something unseen through empty corridors of an apartment building, a stark reminder of just how frightening the pandemic was, as the air itself threatened your life in empty streets. The woman makes it through her door and cowers in her home, giving the show its first great excuse for a gratuitous butt shot. Get used to that, as despite the fact she is in normal clothes, this show is dedicated to more quality crack than my dealer. And then, in a spooky scene, a horrific corpse-like creature crawls out of her fridge, in a scene somewhat reminiscent of what might happen if Sadako got tired of waiting for you at the TV and decided to raid your cheese drawer. But fake out, it's a crappy TV show being watched in the house of our protagonist, who just gets called Miko, and her brother. The next day, Miko heads to school, where she is jumped by a set of cans in the back. That is how we're introduced to this character, chest first, in a transparent shirt, close-up. So, she may have a name, but that's all you need to know, so we'll just call her Cans. Also, a rude third girl appears briefly and moves on. That's literally all that happens. From there, it's a school day, complete with vague foreshadowing, very weirdly pervy shots of Miko on the toilet, and bouncy close-ups of Cans as she discusses that she keeps growing out of her bras. What is she to do? At the end of the day, they part ways, but Miko sees her charm broke off her bag. Oh no! And she goes back to school to get it as it gets dark. Luckily, it's under some furniture, so we can get a skirted butt shot this time. Variety. Then she's stuck in the rain at a bus stop. Oh no. And in an attempt to take a selfie and talk to Cans, the picture bugs out in a spooky fashion. It changes her face into a demonic visage, except she looks more like she got fused with a donkey. And that is the most innovative ass shot yet. And then jump scare! A ghost right in Miko's face! There is no sting, and it's awkward, and it's kinda silent, and it fails really hard. Somehow, Miko pretends she can't see it until it just goes away. That's incredible. I hope this doesn't get old. But it's okay, the worry is over. So, Miko goes home jump scared as it goes behind her in the bathroom mirror. Despite her terror, Miko once again toughs it out and pretends not to see it. She no-sells that ghost, carrying on so we can get a butt shot of her bent over the sink. Hooray! These two tones are blending seamlessly, unlike the well-defined seams of Miko's underwear showing through her pants, of course. But it's okay, Miko has a plan. Salt. Salt stops ghosts. Cut to her butt in the camera as she's on all fours looking for salt. But, and not that kind of butt, this is just a regular butt, but it doesn't work. Miko wakes up to a ghost under her blanket calling her mama. So at least this ghost, just like this show, wears its fetishes on its sleeve. Can't fault it for that. And Miko, once again, no cells. From there, we see the ghost will continue to bother her at school, as one tries to get her attention and make her notice them, with all the subtlety of a female streamer's Twitch chat. Credits. Pick up where we left off. Miko is staring blankly forward as a ghost is right in her face, and Cans is on the other side trying to get her attention. Cans asks if this silent treatment is Miko's way of asking her out. This really is a game of what's the excuse for the next pervy shot. Anyway, moving on. Opening credits, and then cut to the locker room as the camera slowly pans through of all the women in various states of undress. If that's not bad enough, then Cairns gets head in the locker. I mean, it's a ghost head and she can't see it, but still. The show then decides to be cute and meta and lampshade itself by making fun of the generic setups for jump scares in movies, something which this show fails to pull off properly in any way. A word of advice, show, if you can't even do the tropes, let alone improve on them, then don't bring it up. Otherwise, you're just showing your ass more than your characters. From there we go to a millimeter to spare upskirt on Cairns in class, who tells Miko that a small breeze has made her aware that she's forgotten her underwear in the locker room. Miko doesn't want to go with her to get them, so she says to hell with it, she'll go without. Does anyone smell that coming from Cairns' ass? It smells like obvious setup. At which point, a very handsy ghost crawls out of Cairns' desk. Miko runs off with her, trying to avoid it by claiming she needs the nurse, while a confused Cairns treats us to more upskirt teasers along the way. Eventually, the handsy ghost catches up and latches onto Cairns, getting a good handful because who'd have guessed it. At the nurse's office, Cairns starts playing with the stethoscope. As she holds it to her own chest, we get this iconic line.
I know my heart is beating, but for some reason I can't hear anything. Maybe it's being muffled by my boob meat.
It's at this point, I swear to God, Miko thinks perhaps alcohol will harm the ghost. So she takes the hand sanitizer and squirts it all over Cairns so her shirt goes transparent while Cairns makes comments about being all wet. Just make me a ghost. I don't want to be here anymore. This of course does nothing, but in response Cairns wants to hear Miko's heart, so shoves her hands up Miko's shirt, before they're interrupted by the nurse, who is also introduced chest first. So the gropey ghost switches target. After leaving, of course, Cairns makes sure we're all aware she thinks the nurse is hot, so that mystery is cleared up. Then, they find a cat, and there's a scary looking guy who's staring at it, and a handsome guy appears, but he's covered in dark cat ghosts, so Miko thinks he's probably a serial killer of cats. And it turns out the scary guy isn't scary and he loves cats, so they give it to him. Okay. And then they end the episode, meaning despite my earlier comment about the stinky setup for a joke, that was never paid off either. So even the forgotten stupid underwear joke was completely pointless. Even this obvious setup for a cheap gag wasn't paid off, let alone something resembling a plot. Let's hope that isn't a continuing trend. Okay, let's speed this up. Hydra ghost on a bus. Pointless. Handsome guy followed by woman ghost who hates others looking at him. Miko pretends to be looking at wrestling on her phone and complimenting how hot they are to avoid it. Nice, Miko. Perving on wrestlers publicly puts you on the level of about 90% of the internet wrestling community. Hot boy asks out Miko despite waiting for his girlfriend. But don't worry, girlfriend soon arrives and she is also awful. And she is similarly followed by a gaggle of simping spectres too. This is pointless. Miko buys prayer beads. The girls buy butt buns and talk about the ones filled with cream. The beads work on normal ghosts, pushing them away, but a big scary one causes the beads to explode. And finally, they answer the question of what would happen if Miko actually touched one of the big, scary, powerful ghosts, one strong enough to reject and destroy the protection of spirituality. Nothing. She goes straight through it. Terrifying. Hey, remember Third Girl? She's talking to an old spiritual lady who's mostly a grifter but can actually sense some spirit things. Anyway, she leaves. Old lady sees that Miko is hiding that she can see ghosts. She gives her super powerful prayer beads, which immediately break too. This scares old lady. And also, Cairns has super powerful spiritual aura that she can see, that attracts ghosts like crazy apparently. I wonder where that energy is stored. Anyway, despite the super powerful beads breaking, the super powerful ghost stops following them and goes back to its alley. Nothing happens. Miko wakes from a bad dream. Brother is there looking over her and implies she is having a sex dream. Please make the pain end. Miko doesn't want to watch the horror show because we find out she can see scary ghosts through an advertisement. Okay. There's a spooky ghost in an alley and Miko pretends not to see it. Nothing happens. Is this premise wearing thin yet? Brother thinks Miko is hiding a boyfriend and follows her to the bookstore, but he mistakes which book she was actually looking for and thinks she was looking at a how-to sex book. End it all, I'm ready. Miko, naked in a bathtub, not even trying to make the censoring natural, just magic hair, weird pose, reflection that doesn't make sense, etc. Just to set up the Freddy spot of a ghost coming up between her legs, except it's done terribly and it's not unnerving or threatening at all like the original. Then, naked brother walks in, and Miko invites him to stay and wash his back to take her mind off the ghost in the corner. I just hate it here. Miko then gets scared away from breakfast by a big spooky. And there's Mom and Dad. But oh wait, what is this? There's a heartfelt character moment, and we realize Dad was dead this whole time, but Miko can see him, and there's this really nice moment where he talks about the things he never got to do, and she doesn't acknowledge him, but we get to hear what he wanted to say to her, and so does she, and it's really nice and sweet. I can't wait to see how this changes things. Hey, remember Third Girl? She wants to be Old Lady's apprentice because she can see ghosts too, but only like the basic level ones. But Old Lady is gone now because she got scared. Womp womp. We learn her name. It's Third Girl because it. Suspicious that Miko can see 2, Girl 3 confronts her. But she can only see normal ghosts, not the mega monster ones, so Miko has to play dumb again as there is a mega one threatening them. And once again, it's weirdly wrestling to the rescue as, no joke, Miko slaps on a rear naked joke. And they didn't even make a naked joke about it. She just locks Third Girl in a Kakina clutch right there and puts her to sleep. Holy sh**. Third, honestly completely fairly, takes this as a warning not to reveal Miko's secret and assumes she must be super powerful in magic. Whatever. Miko helps an old lady get home who seems to have severe memory issues. A spooky ghost approaches, saying a bunch of numbers. Turns out it's a code to a safe inside, which contains a gift from her late husband that, when she wears it, brings her back to lucidity. It's quite nice. And then, the spooky ghost walks up to Miko and thanks her, despite the fact she still pretends she can't see it. It's very clearly the husband's ghost. Maybe we can start this plot of Miko helping ghosts now. Alright, halfway point, it's time for a change of pace. It's just the first half is a Cans episode. She rescues a dog from a haunted building, but she can't see anything, so who cares? Main notes are she has an even tighter outfit than usual, and she has even a cross strap between them, so she can be the very chest like no one ever was. Second half though, they go to a shrine, because Cans is being followed by a super uber ghost that Miko once dealt with. She prays, and the show actually gets really cool for like 10 seconds, as these cool little fox guardians appear and battle the ghost, and they blast chunks off it with spiritual kamehamehas, but it squashes them and destroys them, oh no! And then a mega fox spirit shows up, the Titan Fox Spirit, and it destroys that thing. It just wrecks that fool. Hell yeah! And then, for some reason, despite them just answering her prayers and saving her, Miko pretends to also not see them too and is terrified and doesn't pay attention to when they tell her something and then leave. This immediately makes this the best episode yet. Yes, the Cans flops through an empty building episode is still technically the best because there's actual action and it looked cool and Miko took an active role in trying to solve an issue and something actually happened. So this is the best one. Anyway, is this a turning point in the series? Let's find out. So following the best episode and what seems like it could be a major development, we open with a nude butt shot of showering Third Girl, the smallest, youngest looking one. Third joins the group, encouraging Kansas photography to lead them to a haunted tunnel so Miko has to show her her powers she thinks she has. I can't be f***ed with this episode after that opening. Okay. Big spooky ghost attacks with the normal ones, Third only sees the normal ones, and when they start getting destroyed by the big scary one, thinks that Miko is using her powers. The big one knows Miko can see it and moves to attack her. We never see if she can actually get hit, because the fox spirits show up again and save her, obviously indicating that this is the first of 3 times they're willing to save her. She doesn't really get it. Third feels friendship. Aw, that's nice. Next. Miko is shopping with brother, tries on clothes so we can see her in her underwear, because what did you expect? Blair, ghost in the change room, who cares? Nothing happens. On the train home, an awesome-looking axe ghost works its way down the train, harmlessly chopping people in the face with its axe. However, it actually does chop into a person and pull out a ghost that was inside them or attached to them, and it drags it out and stuffs it in a bag. Awesome. Miko then freaks out silently when it approaches her and swings at her face! And it goes right through her head and nothing happens. Miko tells her brother she needs to buy new underwear. Womp womp. At school, they talk to a pregnant teacher, where we see a little white ghost around her belly. Turns out, it's the spirit of her previous child, who was never actually born, protecting this new fetus so it may see life. Fuck dark, man. Seriously. That's way emotional for this booby show. Next. Miko remembers maybe she should try helping ghosts, and then at the last second chickens out and does nothing, and nothing fucking happens. New teacher to replace pregnant one. It's the serial killer guy who wanted the cat earlier. Who gives a shit? Ghost in toilet. Feel scared. Third eating lunch in toilets. Feel sad. Now she can eat lunch with friends. Feel happy? The girls to a haunted house. Third gets suffocated by Kansas cans. In an actually nice moment, Miko finally feels relief and indulges at being allowed to scream and acknowledge the scary things around her, even though they don't actually scare her at this point. Even taking the chance to tell off an actual ghost under the guise of yelling at the other actors in the haunted house. That was actually well thought out. Serial killer teacher is weird, haunted by a big evil spider lady as well as the cats, who screams at everyone not to look at him. The reason Cans is constantly hungry is because she burns so much spirit energy. Skip. Miko gets tricked into acknowledging a ghost with a little balloon boy, and the guardians pop up and save her, and they indicate one more left. This time she actually picks up on it. Flashback. Serial killer's mum was terrible. Miko sees serial killer picking up a cat, and she runs in and steals it and runs away. He chases her, and she trips over, and the cat spills onto a street. Teacher Man jumps into the street to save it and gets hit by a car. Oh my god, is he not a bad guy? Have we made assumptions about him like Miko has made assumptions about all the ghosts so far? Could you perhaps call this a theme? Is this perhaps a story? Yeah, he's a good guy who actually saves cats. Flashback, his mom killed the cat he was saving because she wants control over him, and she's a wacko, and she's the awful ghost haunting him as the spider lady now. Wow, deep. Hey, it turns out that serial killer guy has a vet friend. I suppose we were supposed to assume he had no friends, who knows. That's nice, and since his trauma, he can't bring himself to actually keep a cat, so he just saves them. Someone else is around killing cats in the neighborhood though, so that is f***ed up. So he's been rescuing strays. So all the cat spirits attached to him were the ones that he couldn't save. Miko decides this is unacceptable and she's gonna help him, although there's no indication that getting rid of the ghost does anything to help anybody. But she's gonna do it. So she's gonna make herself look at a ghost. It's all been building to this. This is the conclusion. It's finale time. She makes herself look like an insane person talking to no one to provoke the ghost, lets it know that she can see it, and lures it out of the room. The next episode guy at the end of this calls this a satisfying payoff to a slow burn.
Sure, Jan.
It's finale time. She's finally done the one thing she has refused to do up till now. She's acknowledged the ghost. We finally get to see, can she be hurt? Is she under threat? We'll find out right now. The fox spirits show up and blast the mum away. It looks good as usual, but again, nothing happens. And they indicate there's the third one, and they're done, and they disappear, and Miko did nothing. At this, the ghosts of the cats around serial killer guy leave and move on in sparkles. Miko says she doesn't understand why. She too has learned nothing along with the audience. At their teacher's home apartment, he decides to be more open with people. He tells his woman neighbor that he doesn't want her cooking because he worries about the cleanliness of food and things given to him, such as having hair in the food. And the show makes sure to take a moment out to show us the neighbor on her own, commenting that she thought she hid them very well in there, implying she's been purposely putting hairs in the food she gives to him in hopes that he eats them. Gross. But yay, teacher adopts the cat that they rescued, and he catches the guy attacking the cats, who appears on a missing persons poster just afterwards, so maybe he is a serial killer after all. But fair. Miko admits to third girl that she can see ghosts, but doesn't go into any of the details about how she can see more, and nothing is worked out, and it's still left on a maybe, for whatever their relationship's gonna be. And Cans is still completely clueless about everything as she boobs chastily away. But Miko feels pressure from the shrine spirits. She's seeing them. They're haunting her. So she goes to give them an offering. But the spirits get mad. Oh no, they don't want an offering? Is it not enough? Are they going to attack her? They encroach in on her. They look more and more evil. And it's a dream, or something, or maybe not. What? And we see her dad again. She still doesn't acknowledge him, nothing happens. We see more spookies on the bus. She doesn't acknowledge them, nothing happens. She goes to school, repeat the opening with the boob shot, and then she's with the friend, and third girl's there, and nothing happens, the end. That's it. She never confronts a single ghost properly that she has to deal with on her own. We never even see evidence that she could possibly even be hurt, it's only implied. She doesn't embrace the idea of helping ghosts despite proving that's a thing. She doesn't openly share with third girl who might be able to help her understand things better. She doesn't understand anything herself, admitting she doesn't know why anything happens, and she continues as we started, as if nothing happened across this whole thing, and nothing has ever paid off. By the end, they even mostly give up on the sexy teasers, which, like, whatever, they were kind of awful. But in the first half, at least, it was half the content. In the second half, it's barely even there, so it just trails off into this nothing. No development, no conclusions, no anything. Perfection. In fact, it seems to want and be teasing a second season, which is f***ing rich. The start was bad attempts at jump scares that didn't work, and goofy gag sex setups that went nowhere, and trying to be self-aware and make fun of horror tropes, which it couldn't do. By the end, it was boring. It was threatless, and all the entertainment factor had gone from it, and it even gave up on its cringe-worthy sex bits, it seemingly having used them all in the first half. As much as I shouted, I'm not mad at this show, I am just disappointed. They had their own setups. They put setups in there. It would have been so easy to just pay them off in very basic ways just to make a story, but they didn't even do that. They had no real horror, and even the jump scares, which is cheap horror, but still, they didn't put any effort into that either because they probably didn't want it to be too scary. So they couldn't even pull off the obvious jump scares they made fun of. Look, I'm just asking for one arc. Could Miko perhaps learn something or become an active participant at any point where she doesn't just get saved? maybe working with Third Girl, because she might actually know something. Even just establish she's in danger. She doesn't get a scratch. The Fox Spirits save her, implying she's in danger, but we never see any evidence of that. At all. Once. Ever. Nothing. The only interaction I can remember having any impact on the world was making the prayer beads pop and some salt moved, and that's it. I was willing to go along with its premise. I was willing to go along with the silly sex gags, but it didn't make anything out of it. It didn't even pay off its own jokes. The only thing at all that it has going for it is that it looks nice, and there's a reason it looks nice, because they wanted to get you in with it looking nice to look at things. But that doesn't mean anything when there's nothing worth seeing. Don't waste your time. I hope I did alright. Happy Halloween.